Hello everyone, thanks for clicking on this video today. Today, the video might be a bit longer than normal because of the topic we're going to discuss. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is simply because of demand. So, as you might have seen, you might have been referred to from TikTok, but I had hundreds of thousands of views and comments on this video, which I placed on TikTok. So, there was a lot of questions asked and I simply can't respond to every single question. So I thought I'd do a video on YouTube, which is a little bit longer, and give you a lot more detail on what I stated on that video, and hopefully I'll answer majority if not all the questions. But if I do miss any, please forgive me. I am trying to get through the majority of the most common ones at least, so if I do miss anything, you're still unsure, feel free to drop me a comment underneath this YouTube video and I'll get back to you for certainty on here, because the comments will be a lot less. But yeah, please do comment. Please, a simple request, please do like, share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and you've come through to this channel. Because essentially this channel is to educate the people. It's to give you free information which may benefit you in one form or another. And if it doesn't benefit you, by liking it, by subscribing, by just leaving a comment, it sets the algorithm of YouTube going, and essentially it'll get to more people who may benefit. And we've got to be a bit selfless. I've seen, unfortunately, when I post videos, I see so many selfish comments, which I'll go into more detail. I just think to myself, why? I mean, it just beggars belief. I just don't understand why people have a hesitancy of just being nice, just getting the information out there, being transparent, being open, and hoping and trying to learn something from that. But it is what it is, society we live in. Anyway, on to better things. Right. So, first disclaimer: I've not been involved in the medical field. I have no knowledge of the medical field. So this is a lot of it is through my personal experience, which I'll go into in more detail. And essentially, I'm going to be very clear, guys. I'm giving you this information, and then it's up to you whether you want to act on it, look into it further, or do whatever you please. There's no point sending me a comment and saying this doesn't work or this is this when you've not even looked at it, because it does work, because I've done it. So how can you tell somebody it doesn't work when someone's done it multiple times for himself and his family? It just doesn't make sense. You know, I look at the comment and I just think to myself, God, you're closed. Your mind is closed because you're not willing to learn a bit more. Just find out, actually, is this actually accurate what I'm hearing? Or what is there certain parts of it perhaps that are accurate? So there's two types of people in this world. So for example, myself, if someone tells me information, I do one simple thing. I'll go on. There's so many tools available, whether it's people you know, whether it's the internet, whichever platform. There's so much places you can get information from now. People are just lazy. Go and find out and do your own research and verify it. And if you find out it's wrong, guess what? You found out it's wrong. You've learned something new. And if you find out it's right, guess what? You've learned something new. You've increased your knowledge and you've hopefully got something that's going to benefit you. So it's frustrating when people say things like that. I just think to myself, they're the second type of people. They literally just close themselves off, just want to put someone else down. And you think to yourself, why are you doing that when, you're stopping other people potentially from acting on that? But here we go. So as I mentioned, I'm not involved in the medical field. I do have some friends who are actually involved in the NHS and are involved in the policy side. So I do get told some information which maybe the general population is not aware of most times through my contacts and links. And yeah, let's go. So I mentioned that you as a person, the normal people day to day who don't pay for private insurance or health insurance, medical insurance, there is a possibility of getting referred to a private consultant or a hospital for any treatment. Now, I've done this. My family members have done this. I'm going to explain how we've done it. Now, if it doesn't work for you, then unfortunately it doesn't work for you. That's fine. You've just got to accept that, or you've got to take your steps. You've got to put the energy and work into it to make it happen. I can only give you so much information. It's then upon you to check it and to basically go with it and essentially dispute it with your GP or whatever you want to do if you believe in it. So, very straightforward. For those people that stated this is totally incorrect, okay, you don't have to go very far. If you go onto the NHS website itself, it tells you can do this. So, as you've seen on my video on TikTok, I had a backdrop of some passage of the comment, the statement made which explained that, but you may not be able to see it because my face was in it, my mug was in it. But I'll put the link in the description of this video so you can click on it, have a read through, and make of it what you will. There's no one putting anything to your head, so you make of it what you will. Essentially, it's simple as that, and you can show that to whoever you want to show it to. That's down to you and your work. I'm not here to do everyone's work for them, right? You're not paying me, and I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart because I know this information. I know it'll help people. Some people I've seen comment will say, "Oh, don't subscribe and like. They're just trying to make money." I can tell you now, I'm not getting no money from anywhere. And in terms of YouTube and whatnot, again, it's just that negative mindset of some people. Even if we did, as content creators, did get money, what is the problem in that? If you're learning something, you're happy to go and pay a lawyer, you're happy to go and pay your teacher, who again gets money by the tax which you pay, you're happy to get knowledge from, I don't know, a doctor or whatever, again through your taxes which you pay, but you're not happy to pay a content creator who's giving you information which is going to help you and hopefully members of your family potentially. Again, negative mindset, always looking at negatives, whereas not appreciating someone is taking time out and is helping you of their own time. I've got other things to do. I've got businesses to run. I've got employees I'm responsible for. So I've got to take care of that as well as fitting something like this in. But I'm still willing to do this. And in terms of monetary returns, God, that could take years on YouTube for some people. I may not even get there. I don't know. I'm not even think about that. If I thought about that, I probably wouldn't have even started because I don't know if that's going to happen. Whereas if I start a business or another concept, I know that's going to give me X, Y, and Z gains provided I do this straight away. So it doesn't make any sense. We're giving content. If it works, brilliant. If it doesn't work, brilliant also. Anyhow, let's go to some questions. So I'm just going to run through some questions which literally on my TikTok screen here and just go into them a bit more detail. So I've got this one person who commented, if everyone did this, then the NHS would go bankrupt in 5 minutes and no one will get any treatment, the NHS or private. The NHS, guys, look, we pay for the NHS, it's not free. I've mentioned this a few times and I think people sometimes just think it's free and they don't understand the simple basics of where your actual money goes. Everything you pay for, everything has tax. Everything. The bed you sleep in, you've paid tax on it. When you get up in the morning, the tea bag that you put into your cup of tea is taxed. The cup itself is taxed. Your fuel, your car is taxed. There's nowhere where you can escape tax. Your earnings are taxed. You pay for these services, they are not free. The government plants this concept in your mind where they think they're doing you a favour. They're not doing you a favour. And this is why people have fallen so behind. This is why the NHS and the public services are where they are, the state that they're in, because people are literally asleep. They don't comprehend and cannot comprehend how the whole system works and how literally there's billions of money going to the treasury and how they distribute that is upon them. And we need to hold them responsible. But instead, we believe they're doing us a favour. But they're taking money from us. I don't know what to say. It's like a business. You're paying a business for a service or a product, and then they don't give you that product or service, and you just say, "Oh, yeah, sorry, that's my fault." Well, no, it isn't your fault. You've paid for the service, so why is it your fault? You expect that back. You can't win. Some people. Anyway, in terms of would it be bankrupt? No. If we had actually a backbone as a society and we're as selfish as we are, the NHS would be to a phenomenal standard. We just simply have to put our foot down with the government and literally as a collective take full force upon the government and make them change their ways. And it can be done very quickly. Within a week, 2 weeks, everything would change. But that's not going to happen. So, you never say never, but it's highly unlikely that's going to happen because, again, the collectivity of people, the brotherhood, the sisterhood is just not there. So that's not going to happen because they're going to take advantage of it continuously, and they will continue to do so. So whether the NHS is going to be private or not in the future, I think from what I've seen, it's more or less private now anyway to a lot of the degree. I don't think there's much difference, and if the service gets any worse, as it can it get any worse? 8 hours in A&E, you're waiting nowadays. I mean, yeah, in a first world country, If people think that's good enough with what they're paying, brilliant, carry on. Sorry, yeah, let me just go a bit further back actually. Let me explain how this works. So, if you have an issue with yourself, as in there's something wrong with you or a family member, the first thing you need to do is obviously go to your GP, right? Your GP will do the initial checks. He's called a general practitioner, so he's general, just looks at everything generally. He or she will then, your GP will see if there's anything he can do. He might give you some tablets or give you some recommendations, which you then go away, you test it, does it work, does it sort the problem out? No, it doesn't, you go back. Now at this second point when you go back, at this point the GP may try something else, okay? You've got to give them the benefit of the doubt. You've got to let them do this because you've got to be reasonable, right? So you've gone there, you can't just immediately say, I want to go to a private hospital. It doesn't make sense. There's no point doing that because that's just not reasonable. You've got to let the doctor try and test something with you. And if it doesn't work, go the second time, try again. They may provide something alternative. If they can't provide anything alternative, they'll tell you themselves, right, maybe we need to refer you. Or if they don't say that and they just try and fob you off, you've got to put your foot down. And you've got to say, right, you've given me this, it's not worked. Either give me something else to try again, otherwise I want to get referred to a consultant. And a consultant is essentially someone who's more experienced in that specific field of whatever your issue is. And they will look into it and have much more experience and expertise of what's wrong with you and be able to hopefully give you another solution. Now that's the point where you can ask to be referred to a private institution. But you don't just tell them at a private institution, they'll have no idea. Before going to this appointment, essentially, doctor's appointment, you need to do your own research. So you need to reach out to private hospitals or private clinics or whatever you find on the internet. You need to contact them and simply ask them, do they accept NHS patients? If they say yes, then guess what? You can tell your doctor then the name of the consultant or the name of the hospital, but ideally get both. It is recommended if you get the name of the consultant because it will help them out. And then it's not a case of it's just sent randomly, it'll go to a specific person. And then they will transfer you, or they should refer you, they should refer you to that hospital. If the doctor, which in many cases they might do, they may say, no, well, we can't, we do it this way, we do it that way. Say, well, then you can pull up this if you have to. Even if you don't have to, you can accept, say, I've read this and I understand that I have a right to choose where I would like my treatment to take place when I get referred for a consultant or a hospital. So I'd like to, and therefore please can you do that because my family members have done that, for example, or someone I know has done that, or I prefer to go there because X, Y, and Z did a similar thing and they were great and it helped them. Whatever the case may be, you need to tell them. And of course, if you just back it up a little bit by, as I mentioned, if you state that a friend or a relative has already seen that person or they've benefited, and if they have, that's fantastic. So that's important that you relay that information to the GP. And then there's no reason really why he or she shouldn't do that. They should refer you to that place. If to still be fussy, and then it's just a case of how much resolve you have and how much you want to go further. Do you want to put a complaint in? Do you want to go, or do you just want to see where it leads to? But it's important at that stage because once you get referred to NHS, then I think it might be more difficult to get transferred to private. So I think it's at that stage really where you need to, or if you have been referred to NHS section and it's not worked for you, then maybe go then ask for the private solution, or at least see where that leads you to. So that's very important, guys. You need to make that decision. You need to be more, have more grit, basically, and try and put your thumb down a little bit, and make them see that it's important that they do this. Ultimately, it's down to you. As I said, the link is there. You can show that link. You can say this is what it states, and then they may be able to go into more detail. A lot of them, I'm telling you now, a lot of GPs won't even know this themselves. Just like a lot of people in the comments haven't got a clue. They have not got a clue. I've seen that. I've been to a GP and he says you can't do that. Says yes you can. All right, I didn't know that. Okay, I'll put the notes on there and then they'll sort it. So obviously the admin, the backroom team, then obviously deal with that referral. By all means, please. Once you've gone home, send your GP practice an email stipulating that very clearly. Once again, I came to see the GP and I'd like to get transferred or referred to this hospital or see this consultant. Very important, at least you have it in writing then. And by all means, stipulate, say, I've read on this at the NHS website, this is what is I'm allowed to do, I'm allowed to request, so please can you do this, etc. And there should be no reason then why they reject it. And if they still reject it, then guess what? You've got it in writing. You've done what you could do from your end as a layman. So now you've got it in writing. Then it's a case of where do you want to take it if you do want to take it. But more often than not, they'll accept it because they'll know this is causing more headache for themselves. All right. So I hope that's clarified of what the process or what I've done in the past, at least, that works. Now, whether it's based on your area, your county, I don't know if that really makes a difference, because ultimately the NHS is for the whole of the UK. So I can only tell you what I've done and what's worked for me multiple times. So hopefully it will work for you, but you've got to obviously just be a bit more forceful. All right. So this person here, as I mentioned, said NHS will be bankrupt. Okay, well, we're paying almost 70% in taxes, the normal working person. 70% is a lot of money. I'm saving like 30%. Out of that 30%, I've got to pay for my food, my house, my luxuries, my just general clothes, holidays. I've got to pay out that 30%. So if I'm paying 70% to the state and they can't even give me a decent health service for what I'm paying into every single week and every month, I don't know what more to say. Someone said NHS is not free, reiterating what I said. Yes, we pay NI taxes. Yeah, absolutely, we do, and we should demand more, a lot more. We are getting rinsed, and we're going to keep on getting. We are keep going to get rinsed as much as we're going to allow them to do it. They'll keep pushing the boundaries, and we'll allow them to do it because that's the way the population is, unfortunately. But just live with it. Don't do this. This way, someone said, don't do this. This way, privatisation will happen fast. We need to save the NHS. Good luck with saving the NHS. If the NHS is going to get destroyed, I'm telling you now, it's not going to be because of your goodwill and gesture. It's only going to be when everyone collectively saves the NHS. Otherwise, they will do what they want to do. And like I said, majority of it is privatised anyway. So, for example, we give all our money to the government. The government then essentially gives a budget based on a GP's practice. They give them a budget based on how many people they have in that practice. Every year of this is your budget, so essentially it is privatised because they're giving it to a lump sum to the doctors, the GP surgeries, and then they do what they like. So I don't know what the difference is. So it'd be similar, I guess, in a private scenario. You'd be giving it to a health insurance or medical insurance, and then they would be doing the similar thing. Yes, if there's such thing as they don't treat you, which I think sometimes in America that's the case, where they'll say you're not covered under your medical insurance. I mean, that's just crazy. If society and so-called the Americans, the most liberating people, if they are putting their people in that kind of situation where, one, if you can't afford medical insurance, you don't get no medical treatment, that's just crazy. Again, why are you paying your taxes? And secondly, if any medical condition should be covered no matter what. So of course you might have to pay, but it should be covered just like the NHS, so you pay for the NHS. The problem is that what will happen is you'll continue to pay your taxes as you will, and if they go fully private, what they'll do is you'll simply have to get private on top of that. So in essence, you won't save nothing, you have to pay more, probably for less, and that's the problem. But again, that's for us, the people, need to change that. We need to force our opinion onto the government, because apparently they do what the population wants, apparently. So if that's the case, then we should be at full liberty to choose where our money is allocated and how it's operated. So until we do that, guys, there's no point complaining about the government. It's the people that have got to make the change. Okay, most GP practices won't object to doing a private referral, but bear in mind the private referral is one you pay out of your pocket. Okay, so let's clarify. If you went to your GP, this person may not understand the difference, but hopefully I'll explain it. If you went to your GP and simply said, I want to go to a private hospital, guess what? They might refer you to the private hospital, then you'll have to pay. Possibly, yes. All right? But if you do it the way I've told you, is the way of approaching them first, seeing how they get on, If it doesn't work, and then guess what? You need to get referred to a consultant or a hospital. At that point is when you ask. But before you go to that point, remember, you need to go to and find out yourself which private hospitals nearby accept NHS patients. And then it will cost you zero. So ignore that one, okay? But yes, don't go initially and just say I want to get transferred private, because then you will get probably charged, because then you've just done it out of your own, willing, wantingness kind of thing. You just want to do that, but you can't do that. All right, otherwise you might get charged. I really doubt this would work. Okay, I won't comment on that. Yes, under. Okay, so this person says yes under right to choose and choose to book, which I'm guessing they're referring to this link I've sent. But you can only do this if wait time for NHS is more than 18 weeks. Not true. Absolutely not true. Not once have they said to me when I've told them refer me, oh, the wait time has to be over 18 weeks, or the wait time is not over 18 weeks, so you can't do it for the NHS. Not true. Okay, so forget that. I don't know where she's got that from. So that's not the case, in my case at least. If it's the case somewhere else, guys, then forgive me, but I don't think it is. Okay. Let's totally bankrupt the NHS. Okay. This is another one that I saw a few times. It's the same surgeons, NHS or private. That's fine. Everyone's a human being at the end of the day. That's not the problem here. The problem is that more often than not, from my experience at least, when I get transferred to private, one, it's a lot faster. I get appointments very quick. When I get to the appointments, I'm not waiting around for 2 hours, 1 hour. It's normally on the dot, 10-15 minutes here and there. 3, it's a lot cleaner, the facilities that I'm dealing with. 4, there's people around me in that waiting room who actually pay for that service to see that surgeon, and you're, of course, still paying via taxes just like they are, but they're paying extra via their insurances or whatever they have with the hospital, but you're not paying that. And essentially, it's a lot, obviously, less people. So again, I feel there are advantages and to my benefit. And if they are in private and they are, essentially in that field, then more often than not, they may just be of a better caliber than the NHS. And that's not criticising the NHS. The NHS has fantastic doctors, fantastic nurses, fantastic people in there. That's not a criticism, but it's common knowledge, for goodness sake, that the private sector is generally they have better qualified people, hence why people go into the private sector to get more money, to be compensated better. So it's likely they will be better. But worst case, even if they weren't, the other factors I've just mentioned should also be of some kind of benefit to you. So, I mean, there's nothing to lose. But you can stay in the NHS, that's perfectly fine as well. It's not a problem. It's whatever you prefer. But if you prefer to go down that route, at least you've got the option. The point of this video is a lot of people didn't know that option's available to them. I'm just making you aware that that option is available. Whether you want to choose it, it's simply up to yourself. Okay, you have to pay. I know you do, as my GP referred me to a private hospital for treatment. On arrival, I was asked to pay for consultation fee. Obviously, he may have done. I don't know. I don't know the full circumstances of that. But you can ask your GP that essentially once, let's say, they do refer you, or you can ring them up and say, do I have to pay a consultation fee? But like I said, if you contacted the hospital or the consultants team and they explain to you, we do accept NHS, then there should be no reason why they will charge you. Okay? I had a couple of written down actually. A lot of people mention dentistry. Does it cover dentists? I don't think it covers dentists, guys. Okay, I don't think it covers dentists. I think it's just actually it says it. I'm just looking at the link now. It says if you're for a physical or mental health condition. So I don't think it covers dentists. I mean, it may do. I don't know. I've never tried it actually, because my dentist, I know him very well. I've known him for 20 years. He's very good with me, and I have a special relationship with him. So I've never gone down that route, but he may do. I don't know. Mental health. Well, it says it there. It does for a mental health condition. Obviously, that's big at this moment in time. Mental health. So It does state there, yeah, you can get referred from mental health to a private as well. So a lot of questions actually on mental health. That's why I wrote it down here specifically. So mental health should be covered, guys. So yeah, definitely give it a go. Okay. There we go. I've had operations at private hospital under NHS. Private hospitals deal with NHS too. There you go, confirming what I said. What else is there? Your GP does refer you, but once you get an appointment, you have to pay for it. So another person saying that once you do get referred, you have to pay for the appointment. Again, is that just a case of them asking to be referred to a private and not actually doing their research and finding out if they accept NHS? That could be a majority of the reasons for these people who are stating this. So that's something you need to find out. But I don't think that's the case. I've never paid, so yeah. You've just answered a question I've been asking but could not get an answer for. Thank you for that. I have NHS treatments in a private hospital. They have NHS slots in every private hospital. I can't even get an appointment with my GP, one says. Totally agree with you. Can't help you there. The system of the NHS is just, I don't know where to begin. It's sad, it's unfortunate. These GP surgeries have a zero tolerance policy. But they'll treat you and speak to you like dirt. A lot of them won't give you respect, and they take advantage of that. And if you say something back, they'll take you off the list sometimes. I mean, the system is brutal. And then apparently you can complain to an organisation called PALS. The clues in the name, essentially PALS. From my experience, they are literally their pals and they don't do nothing for you. So it's just a case of a tick box exercise of having an institution there, and I'm not a great fan when there's institutions there literally just for their sake and not actually benefit to society or the people it's supposed to represent. So yeah, it's difficult with GPs. I mean, if they're awkward, they'll just say go to another GP, right? And then if they do the same, I mean, how many GPs are you supposed to change? Surely they should be told you can't do X, Y, and Z. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating, guys, but that's the system we have created. I keep going back and I don't want to rant and be unappreciative of the system, because there's a lot of good sometimes, but overall it's a system that is enforced, it's a system that's in play, and it's difficult and it's frustrating, and there's something that you can't do. 99.9% of private hospitals are run by NHS staff. You pay private to have treatment quicker. NHS is a long list. Okay. Does this include dental work? As I mentioned, I don't think it does, but I might be wrong on that one. Many private hospitals provide appointments with the NHS. Check your local private hospital. Yep, there you go. So she's stated the same thing that they do. Check your local private hospital. Trust me, 2 family members done the same thing. Both ended up in ICU. Go figure, they transferred to the local hospital with the same private doctor. Go figure. Right, okay. So she's saying that 2 family members done the same thing. So she's saying they both went wrong. So she's trying to criticise the private sector, I believe. But you know, that's fine. Unfortunate for her, 2 family members of hers didn't have a great experience in the private sector, so they went to, she's saying they got referred to essentially the NHS again in ICU. So yeah, I had a great experience. I had surgery, mine was fine. I think that's covering most of them, to be honest with you guys. So if I have missed anything, feel free to leave a comment under this video. As I mentioned in the description, there is the link for the NHS website where it states the right to choose. And ultimately, you've got to make the effort, you've got to do your own research, and you've got to enforce this issue with your GP if this is what you want to do. I just want to make you aware that the option's available. And hopefully, like I said, you will get benefit out of it. And if you do, and it resolves your problem, then fantastic. I mean, to help someone, especially their health, you know, we all appreciate. You know, we don't appreciate our health until it's gone, and when it goes, we really appreciate. We all talk about we want money, 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 but when health goes and you can't do anything, or it restricts you to a certain degree, then we only truly appreciate how much our health means. So if we can get better healthcare, guys, we should go for it, right? So I think that covers the majority of them. I thank you so much. This video obviously has been a lot longer than I wanted it to. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you all the best. If there's any other questions, leave me a message, but please do like, subscribe and share this video because it'll benefit the masses. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again.